When it comes to building a website or application, one of the most crucial elements is the navigation bar. It's the first thing users interact with, and a well-designed navbar can make all the difference in providing a seamless user experience. In this video, we will be covering a proper way to build a navigation bar, from planning and design to coding and implementation. Whether you are a beginner, an experienced programmer or developer, this video will provide you with valuable tips and best practices to take your navigation game to the next level using just HTML and CSS as the basics for writing web applications. Alright, so let's get started. For us to get started, we need to open our Visual Studio Code, and right here I've not yet opened any folder, so I need to create a folder. So I'll create a folder on a desktop, and I'll name the folder as Navbar. I'll create a folder here, and I'll open it right from my Visual Studio Code. I already know you know how to create folders. Alright, so I'll open my folder, navigate to my desktop, and look for navigation bar. Then I'll open it. Right, now we'll create two files. That will be the index.html and style.css. Now here we are going to write the actual navigation bar code. First, we start with the basic HTML. That will be shift+1. We get the exclamation and the basic HTML and everything. We will change the title to navbar, and everything is cool. Settle. Now when you come to the body, we are going to create some divs. That's the divisions. But first we start with the section, and the section will be called navigation bar. So we are going to create a section. So this whole section for navigation bar. So I'll give it a class of nav. That means it's for navigation, right? Now inside the section you have divisions inside the section. So this first one will be label, and the label will be for the application name. All right, application name. So we give the application a name of, let's say, Quasi Codes. Right, now we create another division and we will name it nav links. The nav links means the navigation element that the user will interact with. So inside the division we will create an unordered list, and we will give it some things like this. We will not actually take this anywhere, so we just give it hash elements, and I'll name this home. Let me copy this and paste this, say 4 times, and we name this, let's say, services, and let's name this explore, and let's name this about us. Okay, so this is a quick HTML that we've written for our app, for our navigation app. Let me just come here and create a style.css. Let me link it with my CSS. So I've linked it together. So I've linked my HTML with my CSS. Now this is the HTML for the navigation bar. You see we have a section, and inside the section you give a class of nav, and inside of the nav we have this. The nav, we have 2 divisions, which is the label part, the application name, and the links part. Alright, now let's head to our CSS. So when we come to our CSS, we are going to give this a margin of 0 for the whole HTML page, a padding of 0, and box sizing of border box. The reason is we want to give it default values so that we will set the margins and the patterns that we like by ourselves. Now in our next line, we are going to edit the actual nav. So we will get the nav itself for nav, right? Because we gave this a class name of nav. That's a section that covers the whole navigation. Now we'll give it a width of 100%, a height of, let's say, 10 VH. We have to run this and see. So let me run it back with live server. If you don't have live server, you can install it right here with your extensions. You come in, you search for live server, you get it. So you run it with your live server or whatever you have, 5 server, whatever. So this is what we get right now. This is what we get right now. So let's go back to our CSS. So we are giving this a height of 10 VH. We can give it overflow of heading. So this is the height, right? Let me make it 9. Now let me give it a background of, let's say, green, but I'll make it look a little bit nice like this, right? Okay, so have you seen that we can't see the rest of the elements? That is the nav links. We are going to use something called flexbox. It's a concept in cascading style sheet that shows how you can arrange items on your website, either vertically or horizontally, whatever, and either on the center, on the left, or on the right. If you want to know more about the flexbox, you can watch my advanced CSS course right here on my channel. Okay, so after this, we are going to set the display to flex. So the flex is going to set it for it to be in line with each other. So if I run this, you see that they are now in line with each other. So this is what I'm going to do. We are going to select this element, the label element, and we are going to give it a width. So the higher the width, it will push this away. If I give this a width of something, it will push this away, because the more this width gets bigger, the more the width of the goes here or the label here gets bigger, it will push this away. So I'm going to say label, and the width, I'm giving it higher width so that this will go to the right side. So I'll just say 30%. Have you seen? Now the width between the label and the nav items is 30% right now. I can make it 70%. Now the width is 70% right now. Large space. Let me make it 60%. Alright. Now we've separated them. Let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is styling the actual element. Inside the label we have goes here, right? Now we are going to style it. We'll give it a margin of 10 pixels and see it fits inside the box correctly. Now let's give it a color of white. Now let's give it a font family of Sego UI. Yeah. Now look, it looks very nice. Okay, now let's move straight into our nav links. Our nav links, we named it as nav links, right? That was a class. So we come back to the CSS and we'll get a class. After we get a class, this is what we have, right? We will first get it by its URL, which is the unordered list, because that's what covers the actual thing. So nav links URL, and we've accessed this unordered list. That means you are editing this. That's what we got here, the nav links URL. As you can see, the element and the URL. So the element was the div, and the URL is something under it. That is the division under it. Don't be confused if you don't understand this. As time goes on, you understand. Alright, so with the nav links URL, we are going to set the display to inline flex. We are not going to use flex because we are not using flexbox for this. If you want to learn more about flexbox, you can watch my advanced CSS course and you know more. So inline flex, if I check this, you see that they are now inline, right? We are now building a navbar. This is the best way to build a navbar. I figured this out myself, and through the what I've learned and I applied it, and I'm also teaching you guys. So yeah, now we are going to give it a margin of, let's say, 10 pixels so that it will be in line with this. Now after we're done, we're going to access the actual element inside the URL, that is the li. So you just repeat this same thing, but we will add li to it because we want to get a li. So li, that's the list. right? That's this element. So under this, we are going to set another margin, and now the margin is going to be between them. We're going to separate them. So 10 pixels. You see, this is to the height and this is to the width. So 10 pixels is between them. That is the space between them. So this is for the width and this is for the height. If I say this is 10 right now, it will come down, you see. But if I set it to 3, it will not come down that much. But if I set it to 0, it will be at its normal position, just like this, right? Now let me give it the height of 3 pixels. Now it will make sense. And a width of 10 pixels. Now we have 10 pixels width between these elements. So between the home and the service, the space here is 10 pixels. Between the explorer and the service, the space here is 10 pixels. Between the explorer and about, the space here is 10 pixels. Now we need to do something. Have you seen and noticed that there are this dot thing there, and it has some designs and underlined, and the color is also not nice. This is how we're going to do it. This is a text decoration and a list style because it's an unordered list. That's why you see that dot, and you didn't change the type of the unordered list to ready or whatever. So it came as circle. Under this, which selects the whole HTML page, you type in list style none. So that means any list style on the page will be set to none. Now you see the dot is gone. That was the list style. Now we want to change, we want to remove the text decoration from the links. So we just say text decoration. Sorry, I type text align, text decoration none. If I save this, text decoration is none. Now you see there's no text decoration. Now left with the color. Now with the color, we need to copy the same thing, but because the color is hidden inside the anchor tag, which is the A tag, that is the anchor tag. We have the home inside the anchor tag, and the anchor tag is a link. So the anchor, I need to initiate it here. Now I've initiated the anchor here, so that means I'm editing the actual anchor element. That is the home itself. And here you can have the ability to act on the font and the color and the rest, but for the anchor tag, you only have the ability to change the appearance of it. And here, by selecting the LI, you only get the ability to increase the size and the margins between them. So here I'll just say color white. If I save this, you see the color is white. I can change the font variant to small caps. Now you see how it looks like. Home service, it's so nice. Let's make it something else. Font variant, let's use normal. Yeah, and now let's set the font family to Arial and see if it will work. Wow, the Arial looks nice a bit. Alright, so this is how we build navigation bar. This is the better way to build a navigation bar. I don't want to add other features to make it complex for you. Now you can try this yourself. It's less code, 40 lines of code here and 24 lines of code. They're very simple, and there are even spaces inside of it. That's how we build navigation bars. This is not responsive because if you check, you see on phones and the rest is not responsive. If you stay tuned and you subscribe to my channel, you are going to learn how to make this responsive on mobile phones. Right now, we have made this for desktop, and this is the better way to build navigation bars by using Flexbox, because at first we created sections and everything. Try to rewatch the video and you understand a lot of things that I said. Alright, so this is the end of the tutorial. If you have any questions, you can put in a comment and let me know, because I want to know what you thought about this video. Alright, I'll catch you guys on my next video. Assalamu alaikum.